incorporate stock sheets, physical count, and reconciliation. And stocks actually is business. The organizations, if they don't have stocks, they cannot run. So do we monitor stocks? And this is one of those when we come for audit, this is something that I'm keen to check. And even internal audits. Do we do their organization, like the way I've said of an animal, some for instance, the animal feeds? Do we do physical counts every day? The organization would do physical in the morning and in the afternoon, in the evening before they close, and they do reconciliation, daily reconciliations. And they also have stock management software. So they have a software that is able to, when you sell, is able to deduct. When you manufacture and bring back or you buy, it can be able to accept it. So the stock management software is able to give analysis. But also there's somebody who is doing physical count, who is now able to now come and say, the system gave me 50 bags of layers. That is what we have in stock. Is it physically there? So when you go there and you find physically you have 45, then that is the query. And especially when you do every day, even one bag is very important for you. So when you do it and every day, you're able to determine what are the issues. Some organizations that don't have a lot of stock, you can do it on a monthly basis, depending on the nature of the organization. There are some organizations that are survey, so you don't even have those stocks. So depending on the nature of the organization, but stock reconciliation is very, very, very important. The same way you do bank reconciliation, ledger reconciliations, do stock reconciliation. And also when you do reconciliation, you're also able to make decision like, what is in our stock that is moving, fast moving? You can be able to make such decisions, like we cannot buy such. Sometimes you go to a place, to an organization, and when you look at their warehouse, they have a lot of stocks. And you can ask, sometimes you go to the back end and you find stocks that have not been sold a year, 2 years, and you ask, who monitored stock to know that this thing is getting out of hand, this thing is not being bought, yet you continue purchasing the same way you kept purchasing, stocking, purchasing, and at the end of the day, you have stocks which are lying there, you cannot even sell them. So when you do stock count and reconciliation, you are able to make such decisions. Directors' account, very important. So if directors are able to invest in the organization, they inject capital, they are able to also withdraw. Some of you, you do a lot of deposit withdraw, and I discourage that, because during audit, when KRA comes to your bank statement and they are able to see director does a lot of withdrawals, a lot of deposits, they are also able to see what business do this director do, for them to do withdraw deposits. So sometimes they may find that even after auditing the company, they want to audit you as a director. And sometimes they can even say those withdrawals, they can term them as money you paid yourself. So they charge you for pay as you earn. So it's very, very important to separate the business from the director, but also to maintain director's account very, very well. Loan agreement and statements. So loan agreements and statements are very important. And because you're having loans within the organization, so do you monitor how you've been paying the loans? Are they, like now interest rates are going up very fast. Are you able to see, to analyze what are the changes in the interest income? Can you even get another bank that can give you, can consolidate your loans and give you at a better rate, and be able to facilitate you something? So loan agreements and statements, and even agree. Sometimes you may agree in January, but along the way, you may find that the bank is doing other things that you do not agree. But when you have a loan agreement, you can be able to agree on issues. So have that file with you, loan agreements plus loan statements, and be able to counter check. Taxation, tax returns, having that folder, that physical document with the tax returns, yeah, NSSF kando, NHIF, yeah, VAT, now NITA, you call na housing levy, as in you're having those, whether you're using the system, you can have a folder on your phone, on your laptop, but also printing that receipt. And also when you take that money to the account, you can have that e-slip. If you paid through M-Pesa, you can write the M-Pesa code on that receipt and file it. So, and also you can also even print an M-Pesa receipt and attach to that receipt, that VAT receipt, and file that document. It is very, very important. And by the way, because KRA has been checking the legacy data, and this legacy data was data for year 2014 huko nyuma, and they are checking that data because of amnesty, and they want to clean those data. One of my clients was sent data for year from 2009 to 2014, and they were requested to pay about 26 million. So they sent me that letter. And I'm like, for me, I was like, no. KRA cannot ask us for data that is beyond 5 years, because that's what the act says. But he told me, no, I have data. I have data for since that period. So that was very encouraging. And remember that time we had manual documents. So encouraging to a point that you can find VAT receipts and those recording that we were doing for as far as 2006. I felt challenged. So I challenge you to put your books properly. Let's talk about the accounting system audit. And this one, I posed a question. I can see we have that minutes to go. Don't worry, I'll finalize before that time. After this, I'm going to talk about eTIMS. I want to really enhance about bookkeeping, because that is the reason why you came for this. Have you ever done an accounting system check? Have you ever done an accounting system check? And on the chart, and on the charts, and on the chart, you can tell me, have you ever done your accounting system audit? And then also my co-host has shared a registration form. We use that registration form to have your email there so that I can send you these notes. So I'll send you'll be sent these notes before end of day. So you can register there so that you can get the notes. Also, we also have, you can also book an one-on-one consultation meeting. We do it through Zoom, or we can visit you, and the consultation is free of charge. There's a link there to do the booking. Yeah, so let me talk about what is the internal, the accounting system audit, and then you can tell me if you've ever done such. So what are we looking for when we are doing this system audit? So this is an audit that you are doing your accounting system, whether the QuickBooks, whether ERP, anything that you're using. Level of data entry. So who keys in the data? Who creates a customer? Who verifies? Who creates an invoice? Who does the payment? Levels of data entry, and are there are there internal controls at every level? So internal controls is the next one. So who authorizes? When we're doing a payment, who authorizes that payment through the system? When we are giving credit days, who does that? When we are incorporating a new customer, who does that? So internal controls at every level. Access rights, who has the rights? The top management, what rights do they have over the system? So you may find someone in the organization has all rights. Actually, they can create, delete, view, everything, everything. So who has access rights? So if somebody is doing invoicing, what rights do they have? If someone is doing payment, is doing payroll, is doing payables, receivables, what rights do they have? And what are controls at every level? Backdating. In your system, can we backdate? Sometimes you find a system where someone can create an invoice for today, and goods leave the organization, and then they come back to the system and they backdate that invoice to year 2022. So it just disappears from the accounts for this month. So can we be able to backdate the data? And are there rules? Deleting of information. Can we be able to delete information? When we are issuing credit note, who verifies those credit notes? Can someone be able to delete an invoice? Very important. Audit trail, does it give us an audit trail that this person initiated, this person prepared, this person checked, this person approved? Can we have that audit trail and be able to monitor every level? Approval system, does it have an approval system that when I raise an invoice, there's somebody who is supposed to approve? When I do a payment, there's somebody who is supposed to approve. Is it remotely controlled? Like you can have a manager who is very far, or the director, but over the system or over his phone, he can be able to approve some transactions over the system. Reconciliations. Does it do bank reconciliation? Does it do stock reconciliation? Very important. And are these reconciliation done? Are ledger reconciliations done over the system? Reporting. Does it give reports? Can it give us a financial statement? Some of us have been operating system. We've never gone to reports. And see, you're having the system with you, but you've never clicked the report section to see what it is going to give you. So can it give us a correct profit and loss? Can it give us a correct balance sheet? Is it user-friendly? There are so many systems out there, but can it be user-friendly that the person who is using it can be able to understand it? Very important. So when you are undergoing a system audit, this is what we are looking for. So that at the end of the day, is the accounting system being manipulated? Is it efficient for the organization? Is it giving the correct reports? Is it making the organization enhancing operations? Very important. Asset register. Okay, sorry, I'm going back, I think so. Let me go forward. So what are some of the books that are required for audit, for KRA audits? Sales ledgers, purchases ledgers, sales and purchase. I don't want to explain because of time, but I know that because I've talked about everything as we were moving, I know now you know what I'm talking about. General ledgers shows our expenses. Asset register, M-Pesa, bank statement. They want to verify that the sales that you have is the same sales in the bank statement. Debtors, creditors account. Salaries and wages, you've told them that the salaries and wages for a year is 3 million. So they want to see They want to verify that. Director's account, loan statement, you've gone to the to the balance sheet and said you have a loan. They want to see that loan statement. Inventory account, you've stated that your closing stock is 20 million. They want to see those stock sheets to show that's 20 million. So they are interested on this data, especially sales, because they want to verify that you did not do under declarations. So they want to see your sales ledger, they want to see your bank statement, because they already have the data from the VAT that you do, because VAT gives them sales and purchase. And they also have data on the auditor's report that for corporation tax. So they also want to verify from your side if that is the correct information that you give them. So key tax compliance guidelines: through understanding of your tax obligation, maintain accurate records. You're able to ensure timely and accurate filings, explore legitimate tax planning strategies. I've talked about this. Engage with a tax professional and consultant to ensure your business is fully compliant. I want to jump that because I've handled most of this. So that is what I had for bookkeeping, and I hope you've understood the importance of bookkeeping, especially when it comes to save on tax. Because what stands against you and that tax demand is your records. Your records is the evidence. So if KRA said that you have under declaration of sale that is 50 million, 20 million, and sometimes they put figures there to really scare you, and a demand of 10 million, something that is very high, you can provide documentation and tell them, my sales ledger has given me this. My bank statement has given this. It is more than what I had filed because of this and this and this reason. So you're able to negotiate your books. You're able to negotiate that audit, and that audit is able to even close. You're able to even close faster, much faster, because you have the correct documentation. And this is one of the main things that I love to do for you as a client. So we have bookkeeping services and we have internal audit services. So I'll talk about that at the tail end. Let me talk about eTIMS. So I know you know so much about eTIMS, and I know that you know about the different eTIMS methods. I'll come back here to state PIC's team to exempt farmers from eTIMS. This was communication that was done yesterday. So it is not official. Anything official, I'll always tell you. And these are lobby groups. You know, the way farmers will come together. These are avocado farmers coming together and saying, no, we cannot be able to buy avocado and tell the farmers to give us eTIMS. So these are negotiations that are there. But as per now, official communication, every company, every business should be eTIMS compliant by 31st March. So how are you going to be eTIMS compliant? This month, KRA was able to incorporate eTIMS Lite, that is a USSD, eTIMS Lite, that is web and online portal, that you can be able to generate an eTIMS invoice through these 3 new ways, especially for micro, for very small organization. I'm going to explain what it is. Okay. I hope you can be able to view my notes. Okay. Don't know how I jumped to the final page. So eTIMS Lite is *22#. You're able to register, and then you're able to generate an e-slip, an invoice, and you can be able to print it. Very simple. You can try the measure. There is a website. This is where you can be able to generate an invoice. eTIMS invoice through eCitizen, also very, very easy. Then you can use the portal. I'm going to share you these notes. You can use the portal, the iTax portal register, very simple also, and generate an eTIMS invoice. So we had a lot of complexity when it came to registration, but right now registration is very easy. And there is eTIMS non-VAT. So you don't have to register for eTIMS, for VAT for you to be on in eTIMS. So the online portal also you can register. And when you want to issue an invoice, you can go to iTax portal, even through a cyber, and generate that invoice, or you can even generate it yourself. It's very easy. Then we have eTIMS client. This is what we were having before, where you go and buy an eTIMS machine, or you download it on your laptop, or you go with your laptop to carry the download for you. So this is what we had before, and it was a bit lengthy, they ask you for so many documentation, especially if you have VAT obligation. There's a document, there are documents they're asking you for. So this is also very good, and it is for medium-sized business. So if you're doing a lot of sales, you're doing a transaction, 10, 20, 30 and above in a day, this is good for you, because you just have that machine and you do the same way we were doing it before, or you use the point of sale that will be downloaded on your laptop. For downloading is free of charge, but the machine you have to buy. And it should be eTIMS compliant, the machine that you're going to buy. Then we have online sales control unit. So this is integration. So you have an ERP or an invoicing system, and is integrated with eTIMS. So when you're selling, eTIMS come out, you're able to invoice with the eTIMS details, happen, QR code, everything. When you're just selling on your ERP. There are firms that are doing integration, and sometimes it's quite expensive. You can explore this, but there are organizations that have been set to do integration. So you can integrate with your accounting software, and you can also do this virtual sales control unit, where it is that you can integrate, but you're offline. This one you can integrate and you're online, but you can also integrate and you're offline. You have an offline invoicing system. So eTIMS is here, it has so many options, even options of someone who is very, 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 we've been doing one invoice in a month. They can be able to do eTIMS. So let's talk about e-filing. So Wednesday was 20th. And I know some of you got a hard time with population of data. So this is how you're supposed to do it. You go to your return, you key in VAT, and then you download auto-populated VAT return. You can see it there. And it is very simple. When you get that data, you save it on your computer. Then that data comes like that. You counter check your sales, because you already have your sales. You counter check that. You have to counter check. And then you counter check with your purchases. You have the purchases invoice. You counter check the data provided. So the data had a problem where you found that there were purchases that were eliminated. So that was one of the biggest problems. I'll share what you do. So now, let me first complete the process. So after that, you import the data. After verification, you import the data back to the system. Then you validate, and then you pay. Then you generate an e-slip. Very, very easy. So this one we have generated with, I think this one is eTIMS. These are sample invoices, especially for eTIMS portal, eTIMS Lite. You get such an invoice, even through the phone, in a car review. It has the QR code, it has the PIN of the buyer, PIN of the you who is generating, and then you're buying from. it has that. So what I can advise about eTIMS, because eTIMS is like it's here to stay. And if they do that again for next month, the out of population, because now when we were unable to file, they were able to open the system for filing. But what happens for the March recording now filing for April? Make sure that all your suppliers, you've given them your PIN. Otherwise, you'll not be able to use that purchase. Rule number 1, kila mtu akuwe na PIN yako. If you want to claim that purchase, then that purchase should have your PIN there, and you come back here and you can even do a invoice checker. So when you open your iTax portal, you can see their invoice checker. There's a portion where you can do invoice checker. You can even check if this supplier, yes, has given me an invoice. Is it a valid invoice? And a valid invoice means that you can be able to view it. So that the full process is complete. They can give you an invoice, but they did not remit that data to KRA. So kuna, what do we say? Kuna data breakdown. So you can be able to view, and when you view that, you cannot be able to see that invoice. You can talk to them and say, you can air out and you can tell them to complete the entire process. So it means you get the purchases. You have, the person must have, even supermarket. If you're going to use that supermarket receipt, mwambie pale cashier, I'm going to use this one, so put my PIN there. So that is the formula. Then come back and do a verification, and do a verification. Leo tuko 22. Do a verification from now to 31st. Otherwise, at the close of the month, umefunga mwezi, you cannot do. You've closed. If there are issues that you're supposed to solve, you should solve them prior to the close of the month. Actually, before they opened the system that we could file, they were saying we tell the supplier to give us a credit note, then re-invoice for this month. Can you imagine? The other challenge that you got, you can tell me on your chart, what were the other challenge that you had? One of the other challenge was that in the morning you get data that is, you're supposed to pay 500,000. Then lunchtime you auto-populate again, it gives you 800,000. Then in the evening auto-populate it again, it gives you 1 million. So that was one of the biggest challenge that I saw with the system. But of course, because they have tested, they have seen the issues, I'm very sure right now they are cooking it better. So for you to be prepared, make sure that you have your purchases with you and you have your PIN number. Your supplier has described that they are selling to you. For people who are doing imports, even imports, at the time of import is coming in, it should be stated on that invoice that it is coming to your organization. So very important for that. So let me, because I know this is a hot debate, I want to check your, just write something on the chat. Sorry, I want to see something on the chat. Please share the notes. I'll share. Sales that were made, never made in my sales that were never made in my sales. Okay, I did not understand there. Charles, explain further. Explain further. Someone is saying they've learned a lot. Okay. Tell me about auto-population. What are to discuss here kidogo too? It was amazing to locate sales to client who were never we never. So some of you got sales data that was not yours. Yeah, I know there was those issues. Purchases not on eTIMS. Yes. So Stephen, purchases that were not in eTIMS. So you got purchase, but they were okay. So if you received purchases and they were not in eTIMS, make sure that you have the eTIMS invoice and described to your organization. So the PIN invoice lazima iwekwe hapo vizuri so that you can view the data. So I had an issue with generating an eTIMS configuration. Well, hiyo ni ngumu, Evans. So my team can tell me what was that. eTIMS configuration. Okay, for digital service providers, how do we go about it? So for digital service providers, do you issue an invoice? Or you're having a subscription that people are just paying online? What nature of business are you doing? Na kuna kwanga na digital service tax, by the way. So possibly it's a conversation that we should do with you and understand the nature of the business. You can do a calendar booking on the chat, and then I can get back to you and we can talk. So what other challenges did you see? And by the way, for some of you who are able to file properly, because I also know there were people who did not experience a problem. Actually, the data provided was the data that you had. So should we claim expenses not related to our core business, e.g. fuel station? Why is it, Jeremiah? Why, Jemima? Why is it not related to your business? You shouldn't claim any purchase that is not, don't claim any purchase that or any expense that is not related. Otherwise, on that receipt, who is written there? Ati mimi as a director anakunywa mafuta nakuja na receipt. Not unless that receipt is written RWK. If it is written Regina, you cannot use it. And if you're getting that receipt to come and use it for eTIMS, rule number 1, let even the fuel station have your PIN there, buyer's PIN. Iwekwe hapo. Hapo ndio tumefika. Issue on sales not matching with the record on eTIMS. Yes, we got a lot of issues on our sales not matching. So I'm very sure they are working on that. January, they had tried this and then it failed. So February, wamejaribu. I'm very sure this I foresee that they are going to really enhance this system until it works. Kenya kwanza itake mchezo. Okay, let me see one more. Credit notes were being rejected because of dates variations. By the way, there were so many rejections because of dates. And by the way, sisi tulifanya, you may find that the system, the purchase invoice has a different date with the eTIMS. eTIMS what? Receipt. Si unaona vile una attach hapa juu. You may find that this purchase invoice has a different date with the eTIMS invoice. So eTIMS ilikuwa inatumia e-date yao ya invoice, ya eTIMS receipt. So that was one of the issues. So what I'm saying for eTIMS, lazima tuipange how we are doing our VAT correct, especially organization that your sales 1 month you're doing 5 million, 2 million, 3, where you have now to really sit down and analyze your VAT properly. Leo ni 22, you can look at all your sales, then look at all your purchases. If there are people who have not incorporated that, your PIN, tell your supplier, you have to give that, you have to incorporate my number there, my PIN number there. As in, lazima, so that at the end of the month, for instance, if they don't open it, that we do the manual filing, then we are also cooked. So let's have that discussion. You cannot wait. If you have VAT obligation, you cannot wait until close of the month. Inafika first ndio una auto-populate. Some of us had about auto-population on date 18th and 19th, 20th when you were filing. in the morning on 20th, when you're going to file, now umetengeneza document manual, and it comes, it's rejected, and you're like, what is going on? Unajua kuna out of population. So I encourage you, if you have VAT obligation, don't close the month until you have verified your sales, verified your purchases, made sure that everything is balancing out so that you can talk to your supplier in time. Otherwise, you'll be having VAT to pay, and you're not supposed to pay that kind of amount. So we got clients who possibly they pay like 500,000 in a month. They were told to pay 2 million because of the purchases that because of so many issues. Yes, you can generate a Z invoice on eTIMS. You can generate a Z, and it is, you can even do a Z report, daily Z report, that every day you are able to reconcile the eTIMS invoices. You can even do it daily. When you're filing a VAT credit, is it given that KRA will come knocking on your email to do an audit on your business? So VAT credits. So when you're doing a VAT credit, it becomes an audit trigger. So you cannot run a business, not unless you have to explain the nature of your business very well, because it shows you're not paying VAT. You're also not paying, you're not, even your corporation tax itakuwa negative. It will be a loss. So what kind of business are you doing that your purchases are always higher than your salaries? So it's an audit trigger. That's a huge audit trigger. So depending on the amount. So what I would advise you, William, you can have your credit, but there are days you have a positive cycle. So sometimes you can even find that the PIN is no longer, and carriers these days are doing some things, some measures that are very abrupt. Last year, if I'm not wrong, the client who are in credit for a period of about 6 months to a year, all their PINs were deactivated. And we had to go to special table. And the reason was that you are always on a credit, you have to go through audit. So it's very important for you, whatever business that you're having, you have to explain. So there is a time they will come and ask for that explanation, and you have to so I'm working as an accountant for a company, motor dealer, that is not non-VAT. How do I use your eTIMS? So motor dealer, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're selling vehicles, so what are you doing? So for VAT, if you're registered for VAT, VAT has the 3 categories. It has a standard rated, it has an exempted, it has 0 rated. So if that business that you're doing is exempt, exporters and business, local related have credit VAT all through, no problem. When the nature of your business that you're doing, that's okay. Even the person who is asking for that can be able to see the business, the nature of the business that you're doing is export business. That is very good. And they can be able to see your sales, they can be able to see your purchases, and they can be able to know that they don't even have to ask you a question. And some of you also, because some of these organizations you're supposed to claim for refunds, if you're not also claiming that refund and you have a credit, they can also ask you what is the reason. And by the way, we help clients claim for those refunds. So if your organization, for instance, you're doing animal feeds and they're exempted, and you have volumes, you can have VAT, you can do eTIMS VAT exempted and do filing. But I've said there's eTIMS non-VAT. So you can register for VAT and not register for eTIMS and you don't have VAT. So you issue eTIMS invoices. With that, you don't have to do monthly filing. You don't have to do monthly filing. But at the end of the day, you cannot give an eTIMS invoice a full year and you say next year, come June when we are filing, that in filing a year return. No, Now you no longer file any return. You have to describe the business income, expenses, purchases. So for everybody, especially SMEs, if you're going to issue eTIMS, then know that is that you're going to be audited in future. So also have those calculations done correctly, so that come next year you're able to file and you're able to declare business income. So let's continue. Let's continue. We are 12. So you give me 10 minutes only to share what I had. So have we been able to do tax amnesty? We are a few months to the closure of the amnesty period. Amnesty was giving amnesty to penalties and interest up to the period of 31st December 2022 closure. And I know you've been receiving these emails telling you to access this amnesty. You can be able to do it at your office. If you look at this web iTax portal, you can see here, I should have mentioned the invoice number checker. I told you, you counter check that purchase invoice, that expense invoice. You can counter check if it is eTIMS compliant. Control unit checker. If you don't have the QR reader, the QR code to read that, you can come here and do the invoice number checker. So you open for amnesty, you open debt and enforcement section, and then you apply for the amnesty here. So it's going to give you the amnesty pale chini. Ukifungua hiyo debt and enforcement, and then you can slide hapo tumeruka, oh, it's this one. You're able to see amnesty hapo chini, income tax amnesty, payee amnesty, then you choose. After you choose, so for this one we had, if you don't have a liability, it will not take you to the next point. If you have a liability, it will take you here. So you can see the liability, the interest, the penalties there, and tick. You have to pay the principal amount for you to get the amnesty, and you don't have to pay everything. So as you pay, you can get the amnesty for that as you move on. So you do a payment plan for that money. And right now is the only payment plan you can do is for what? You pay March, April, May, June, 4 months. So that is the amnesty period that you can do the installment. And when you pay, ukilipa tu, then you can ask for the amnesty. So for instance, let me go back here. For instance, if you pay 182,456, the first one for 2018, this interest 118 and 9,000, because now the principal amount will read zero, you can come and do an amnesty application for this. Na inatoka tu from the system within a day or 12 hours, unapata iko zero. So you can do that as you move. So for you who is waiting until you get full money principal amount, so that you can do amnesty, apana, just pay and apply for amnesty as you move to the next payment. Bora tu principal ikwe lipwa for that period that you're asking for the amnesty. So the final one is housing levy. It was reintroduced in circular, ilikuwa issued jana. I hope tulisoma kwa newspaper. And with the new housing levy, the issues, what made it stop was inclusivity and what legal framework. So they've been able to follow the legal framework of getting it to Senate, to Parliament, to what. So imekuwa reintroduced. Then it has the inclusivity that even informal sectors wanafaa kuifanya. So I know now you know a bit of this. So same way for 1.5%, 1.5%. There is some exemptions walisema, na wakaeka penalties by the way, 3% penalty of unpaid funds per month. So saizi kuna penalty. And there were some proposed exemptions. I don't know, but these ones I say, the proposed exemption require cabinets and secretary to issue a gazette notice. There were a lot of proposals which were very good, that if you own a home, you don't have to do it. So these ones have not gone through the right channels. And I'm very sure they are going to delay this part so that we keep paying the housing levy. So this circular that was provided did not have the exemption. So as per now, the exemptions are not incorporated there. But you can also read on it. When I send you the notes, you can read what are some of these exemptions that have been proposed. How to file? This one I had shared last year when we started filing. So some of you are asking now, how do we start? Some of you did not even do them. So it's very simple, the same way you do pay as you earn. So you're going to also learn that. So what is the future trends for eTIMS, housing levy, taxes? Taxation has become a hot debate. And these things are here to stay. So it is your organization being able to adopt. And how do you adopt efficiently, effectively, without affecting your profitability, without affecting your business, without being stressed up by so many things? So adaptability is very important. And this is where you require a professional tax consultant to help you through the process. And that's what we do. Great. So there's a great push for tax compliance. There's a lot of audits that is happening. Of course, when KRA is able to gather this data, eTIMS is data they want to gather. They want to see sales that are happening in Kenya. Can you imagine even the server? How much information they are holding on a daily basis. So the moment they have that data, now they use that data for compliance purposes, for audit purposes. So there's a great push for tax compliance in all organizations. So have that discussion in your organization, how to enhance your compliance for taxes. Tax compliance surveillance, a lot of people, the KRA staff, keep moving around, and their focus is on eTIMS. So after 31st, when now eTIMS will be fully mandatory, I'm very sure now the officers will come boldly in your organization to see if you're using eTIMS. Rentals, they've been moving to rentals. That was one of the areas of concentration, to see every rental houses is able to pay rental taxes. And by the way, MRI, monthly rental income tax, was reduced to 7.5% in January. The amnesties are moved to clean up the iTax ledger issues. So if you have ledger issues, reconciliation issues, there was some money you paid and they were not reconciled, this is the time to reconcile. So that when you reconcile the payments, you also receive an amnesty for penalties and interest that are piled over time. KRA is using data intelligence to for tax compliance. I've talked about that. So who are we for the newcomers? We are LWK Associates. We are a registered audit firm, so we can help you with audit, tax, and advisory. We have a branch in Thika Road, opposite Mangu High School. And we have a Westlands office, that is Westlands Road. And those are our contacts. Today, I want to introduce to you Bookkeeping Masterclass. We really talked about bookkeeping, and we will say this is the core. This is the core of every accounting function in an organization. It is very important. So come together with us and learn. Come and learn. Come and learn what we have learned and do it practically. Learn, and the course is only 8,000, and we're going to give you a certificate. We had a masterclass, taxation masterclass, about 2 weeks ago, and it was so nice, and you came in numbers. And we're going to do the same masterclass in July. But right now, for this period, we are doing this bookkeeping masterclass in May. Yes. So you can be able to plan, save, and come and learn, enhance your skills, enhance how you do record keeping, how you do the accounting system, how you do your taxes. Just enhance. It is very, very important. And we have said, as an accountant, step out. there are so many people who have done BCom and CPA, but just stand out by the level of organization, the level of how you're able to organize your work. I know some of us, and because I'm also an accountant, some of the work we do is not really appreciated. But you can stand out by how you're able to organize yourself, and learning also is one of the key areas. So if you do want to do this, you can book on the chat. So my co-host will share the link. Just do a booking for this masterclass and come and learn. We are the best, especially when it comes to practical learning. So these were some of the trainings that we did for this month. We had taxation masterclass, and we always have tax trends and recent KRA updates prior. So when we are having this week, the webinar, last week on Friday, I did tax trends and recent KRA updates. So it's a 1 hour webinar, and it is very, very good. For you, this is your first time, just go to our social media pages and follow us. So every time we do this, you can be able to follow. So I'm Regina. Then we have this internal audit. This is something that I would want to do for your organization. And this is where we come and check the audit accounting system audit. We do bank reconciliation for you, internal control processes, a tax health check. This we do it on quarterly basis, 3 months. Management report and governance report. We give you a payroll review for that 3 months. Procurement, we look at your procurement processes, payables and receivable reconciliations, cash flow projection, budget to actual report. We can do this, and we can have a 3 months external view of the organization, and we charge very well. We are not very expensive, by the way. So you can do a booking on the chat, and we can do that. Similar, we have the bookkeeping. So you might be having an accountant, but you want or support, or you don't have the accounting function at all. We can set up an online accounting system, possibly on what you choose, QuickBooks Online, and we can be able to support you on this, help you do the normal accounting work, bank reconciliation, payroll, monthly returns, cash flow, cost management. We can really be able to do this on a monthly basis. Then for taxes, I'm a tax consultant. So most of the time I'll help you, especially on KRA audits. And also if you're having tax issues, tax representation, audit queries, even going to the objection level, to the ADR, to the tribunal, we can help you solve all your tax issues. And we can help you do a tax health check. You might not be having issues, but we can do a tax health check for the past 2 years and give you a report with recommendations and findings, and help you, because we are in a compliance state now. We can help you on how, and give you ideas on how to save on tax, of course, and how to be tax compliant. So with that, my name is Regina Kengori, RWK Associates. So I want to read a few of your comments and questions as I call it a day. So allow me to do that. If you have a question, I'll allow me to do that. So you can comment on the chat. I would love to hear the comment and the question. So if you have eTIMS, There are someone who is asking, they have eTIMS, they don't know how to go about it, or they don't know, they've not incorporated. We like have a week to incorporate. You don't know, just do a booking. We just help you how to go out to maneuver. Depending, we'll ask you the nature of the business and we can help you to choose the correct one and how to go about it. When is the deadline for filing housing levy? 9th. Like you do it together with your payee. And you also remember when you're doing housing levy, you also do housing levy, payee, NHIF, NSSF, NITA. They're like 5. And if your organization you're overwhelmed, is also something that you can do for you. Does it mean that TIMS is fading away? Very good question. Very good question. And first of all, what is the difference between TIMS and eTIMS? TIMS was introduced when VAT ETR was there. So TIMS was able to transmit data to KRA on real-time basis, the same way eTIMS does. But the difference is eTIMS is a point of sale. TIMS was operating like an ETR. The only party was able to transmit the data. So when the client buys something, for instance, 50,000 or 20,000, you key in the amount, you get a slip, a receipt with the 16%. But eTIMS want to monitor stocks. It's web-based. Yeah. So it wants to monitor stocks. So you have to incorporate your stocks and be able to describe. So this 20,000 is what? It is oil, cooking oil, it is what it is, or everything. So you have to operate it like a point of sale. So that is a difference. So, and that is why I'm saying that collecting all this data is an audit. We are sitting on audit. So there's some things that even our stocks, KRA will also be able to monitor our stocks. And that is how, for instance, there are people, especially if you're operating an organization that has so many items like a hardware, eTIMS is becoming complex. It's becoming so complex for them because they have to like put everything so that they can be able to pick. And don't just do it anyhow. Like you know that sometimes we can just say I'm just doing an eTIMS. So that client bought in a hardware, they bought cement, chuma, iron sheet. But for you, because you're in a hurry, you just said cement, that is 20,000. That error, by the way, next year during audit, they'll audit that stock. They'll audit that stock. So be able to give the correct information to that person. For you who is doing TIMS, enjoy yourself, but I foresee, this is me, I foresee before we close the year, mutambua kila mtu aingie eTIMS. So start understanding how eTIMS is working. Kindly share the booking link. My co-host, kindly share. Kindly share that part. Kindly share that part. One is a dead, oh, that one I've answered. Do KRA have a right to access your accounting system? No, they don't. They don't. And eTIMS is just transmitting the data that you've input there. They don't. The only part they can be able to do that is through the ledger that you send them during audit, or depending on the nature of the business that you do, they can come and do system audit. And system audit I see mostly happening to people who do a lot of sales, especially supermarket, wholesalers, distributors. So KRA can send a team of system auditors and they come and audit your server. Yes, so they can come and audit your server, but they cannot be able to access your accounting system in their offices. No, there's no that space. Housing levy and NITA are agency revenue, and okay. Okay, thank you for that info. Does KRA then require all organizations to register for eTIMS? Yes, even organizations that offer exempt services like schools, hospitals, they're still coming on board. Right now, for insurance companies, they cannot pay you insurance if you're not eTIMS enabled. So I've seen also hospitals being eTIMS enabled. So it's a push at every level. Push, push, push until everybody is anatoshea. Okay. Everybody atoshea hapo ndani. So advice on how to pay housing levy for casual workers. So the same way we pay for NITA, we pay for NHIF and SSM, same way 1.5% for that person, 1.5 for the other. And because I've also interacted with the NITA and with NSSF and NHIF, when they come to you, they don't say ati hawa ni permanent na hawa ni casuals. By the way, NHIF doesn't know that. The moment they come to your organization and they do a head count, they are supposed that all those people should be registered for NSSF and NHIF. They insist, quote me, that every person who comes to your organization at the end of the month unafaa kumfanyia NSSF na NHIF. Similar way for housing levy. So, and who is that casual? Who is a casual? Casual ni kumaanisha hajafika threshold ya pay, ama casual ni kumaanisha anakuja akienda, they are not there on a monthly basis, they don't have a contract, which is which? So sometimes you may find a lot of audit queries on that area. So it's very important for you to be careful how you're doing it. Somebody who is, just because you are paying them on a weekly basis, but they have been there, you're paying them on a weekly basis, but they have been there for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Huyo sasa anavuka casual na kuwa employee. So you can have one more question before we close. So I'm reading. How do you capture per diem and other internal business expenses? So those internal expenses like casuals, payroll, those per diems, those are what?
So inaenda
hebu tuende kwanza. Kuna venye uliweka overseas.
yeah.
Nasema kwa per diem. Per diem ya overseas. Sasa hii. Look up. Kwa hiyo telefoni. So, sio all others.
Nimeona ina drop down nyingine.
Ni pole homo vitale. Jadi waktu kami tamu kira-kira kasi no sawa
So apology for that. I guess I lost you because of
I'm supposed
internet.
to go zone the domestic and international.
So I just came back to say thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for coming in to learn. I really appreciate. I really appreciate you being here. So if you have a personalized question, you can do the booking. You can also request to talk to me. And we're going to have that conversation, and I'm going to help you on how to work your tax issues. So with that, I say thank you so much. Booking link, co-host Ujaweka, tuweke booking list up, booking. So for these notes, I had a lot to share. There are some things in the jump because of time. I'm going to share on your email. There was a link to share your email. So just make sure that you register there. We're going to share the notes with you. So with that, kwaherini, have a lovely afternoon, have a lovely weekend, and God bless you. Don't be scared by eTIMS and taxes and everything. And God bless you.